Hey demons, it's me, your boy, and it's finally fall. So I can talk about demons and scary stuff and plagiarize stuff that I've watched and that I find really amusing. If you don't know the Hey Demons stuff, you should really watch that clip because that is priceless. Hello beautiful bookworms, my name's Catarina and welcome to my channel. And if you've noticed, yes, I kind of look sick, don't I? But I'm not sick. These are my seasonal allergies and they are back because it is finally fall! See how I subtle put the name of this video into the conversation that I was having? I'm getting better at this. I feel like I'm getting better at this. Okay, I'm just kidding. So let's just go to the main event. It is finally fall at the time that I'm posting this, probably after fall commences. I have my fall allergies again. I'm wearing a bikini and a tank top because there's 30 something degrees Celsius in Portugal right now, in Porto, and I don't know why. And I must say at the time of filming this, because probably when I post this, hopefully it'll already be autumn and it's not going to be this warm, because I have to tell you, not being able to breathe because of my allergies and being this warm is kind of messing me up actually. So today I decided I was going to be doing the Finally Fall book tag because I don't believe that I've ever done it, and if I did, well, let's just do it again because fall comes back every year, so why not this tag? I mean, am I right or am I right? And so this tag comprises of 10/11 questions if you consider the last question a question because it's only the tag question. But yeah, I decided that I was going to make this tag and voila, here I am. So question number 1 is, fall, the air is crisp and clear. Name a book with a vivid setting. And for this one, I chose Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. Pretty much the entire trilogy because Laini Taylor is really awesome at descriptives, but mostly the first book, Daughter of Smoke and Bone, because most of its entirety is set in Prague, and for those of you who don't know, Prague is an European city, and I could actually envision the streets of Prague and everything going on when this was going on. It made me feel like I wanted to visit Prague. It made me feel like I knew the place even though I've never been there. There are restaurants and streets and monuments described in this that made me know the city without even being there, so I think it was really vivid and I really enjoyed reading it. Obviously the rest of the trilogy also has very vivid settings, even though some of them are fantasy settings and some of them are real settings, and I'm not going to say anything else or I will spoil you, but particularly for this one I really found that the setting was really vivid and immersed me a lot in the story. Question number 2 is, nature is beautiful but also dying. Name a book that is beautifully written but deals with heavy topics such as loss or grief. And for this one, I chose another Laini Taylor book, and that is Strange the Dreamer. And this is my copy of Strange the Dreamer. It doesn't look like any of the ones fairly bluish that I've seen on BookTube videos, but yeah, this is Strange the Dreamer, everyone. And this book, basically, one of the themes of this book is loss, war, loss of something, not, well, someone as well, but also some things. Identity, for instance, race, for instance, also the war between two different parcels of beings and etc. I'm really struggling because I don't really want to spoil this for you, because going into this without knowing anything like I pretty much did, I believe it's the best way to engross yourself in this story. But this is a beautiful book. It deals with a lot of heavy topics, if you can see through the metaphors that Laini Taylor often uses, and you will see that although it is beautiful, it is really refreshing and a really whimsical way of reading a book, it still deals a heavy blow and you still want to cry and you still feel like those topics are fairly real and fairly adapted to this world that we live in, although they're in a fantasy world, if I'm making myself clear. So this is very actual, very recent, and it has a lot of impactful strength in all of the topics that explores, so I find this one fairly intriguing, and I really love this one, so yeah. Question number 3 is fall is back to school season. Share a nonfiction book that taught you something new. And for this one, I actually read not a fair amount of nonfiction, only when I'm researching for my thesis or something like that. So I went searching for one that actually I read and actually taught me something. And this one, The Anatomy of Violence by Adrian Rain, The Biological Roots of Crime, is pretty much one of the books that taught me a lot and that I actually love. This is nonfiction. This is basically about why do people kill, and if some criminals are born or are made, and what causes violence, how can we treat it, if it's a brain problem, if we can devise differences between violent people in the brain and in behavior, and if we can fix that or try to redeem it or something like that. And it's about Adrian Rain's studies about crime and violence and biology, neurology, and it's really interesting. It is actually one of the main forces behind my thesis. So my professor that is actually orienting my thesis recommended his students that we picked it up, this book, and give it a read before we start doing the thesis. And that's why I actually felt like I really wanted to study the brain and to study youngsters and to try to understand the process of being a criminal, the process of being violent towards other people. And yeah, that's what eventually gave birth to my thesis, which I'm not going to share in here because it is not even finished. So, well, maybe by the time that I publish this, will be finished. I really hope so, because I'm pre-filming this, so I have no idea when I'm going to publish this. I'm still working on my thesis and everything. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, this one taught me a lot, and it was really fairly easy to read, which you would not consider because it is about studies and about the brain, which is, although it is a fairly interesting part of your body, it's really difficult to understand some of the procedures that go on your brain. But it's really interesting. It is written in a really, well, scientific-based kind of way, but not in scientific talk in a way. Well, some things I understood because I was already studying the procedures and the neurology of the brain, but other stuff I just understood because I'm a person and I have knowledge of stuff. So I think that pretty much anyone could read this, and maybe if they are in doubt, they could search for more stuff about the parts that they are in doubt with. And I really enjoyed this. This taught me a lot. This is the main force behind my thesis. So yeah, this one. Question number 4 is, in order to keep warm, it's good to spend some time with the people you love. Fictional family or friend group that you'd like to be a part of. And for this one, I am gonna go with the Weasleys from Harry Potter. I always felt like they're a very heartwarming family. They're always caring about each other, and they're friends in a way that you don't see a lot of people actually caring about other people or each other. And I find them to be one of the most perfect families explored in books. Obviously, not everything is forgiven, and there are stuff that happens that you can see, like parents taking an effort in education for their children and trying to give them values that are important, and not kind of, oh, you have to be a pure blood wizard and you can't be with anyone else. Like, no, real actual values that they try and transmit. And I really think that that was a fairly description of what a family should be. And even though they have financial trouble and they're a lot, and they are trying to cope with dark times, and they could possibly be killed at any time because they are friends with Harry Potter, they maintain a level of education, morality, love, friendship, loyalty that you wouldn't see maybe in our actual days in other families. And so yeah, the Weasleys. Question number 5 is, the colorful leaves are piling up on the ground. Show us a pile of colored spines. Oh wow, this is not going to go well. Let's just go with this one because I have more books with fall colors, but I feel like I'm going to let them all crumple to the ground, and I don't want that. So here's my fall pile. I hope you enjoy it. Question number 6 is fall is the perfect time for some storytelling by the fire. A book where somebody is telling a story. So for this one, I'm going to go with a recent one, and that is City of Ghosts by Victoria Schwab. And I'm slowly losing my voice. I'm sorry about this. So City of Ghosts basically is the first perspective, middle grade horror, slightly horror, story, and our main character, Cassidy, is the one that tells the story, and she tells the story of the ghosts she meets and how she can see through the veil, so she can go into the world of ghosts and what's her part in all of this, and is really funny, really amazing, and I really enjoy it. So, City of Ghosts. Yeah, I'm officially dead. Question number 7 is The Nights Are Getting Darker, share a dark, creepy read. And for this one, I chose kind of a big one, and that is Let the Right One In by John Ajvid Lindqvist. And this is, I believe, Swedish? I think. I have no idea, but I do believe that this is Swedish. Please correct me if I am wrong. There's a movie of this, an American one and a Swedish one, I believe. I don't recommend the American one at all because they fail to see the point of this book. This is basically a story between two children that is actually fairly creepy, and that has to do with the fact that people don't actually want to be alone in the world, and they want to find the right person to protect them and their secrets. And I don't want to say anything else about this, except that there are some supernatural things going on, which can actually project you to read the book, which is actually what I want you to do, to read the book. But I'm not going to say anything else about this because I went into this already knowing what was going on because I had watched the American movie, and I was really excited when I finished it, and I was like, why did I watch that movie instead of reading the book, because the movie was shit and I almost didn't read the book. And then I watched the Swedish version, I think it is Swedish, and I absolutely adored it. So read this book. This book is really great and is really cool to read in this Halloweenish season. It is not as creepy and dark and horrorish as a lot of other horror books, but it is pretty amazing and I think you should give it a shot. Question number 8. The days are getting colder. Share a short, heartwarming read that could warm up somebody's cold and rainy days. And for this one, I'm going to share Your Name Volume 1, which is the only one at the time that I'm filming this video that I've actually read. I am planning on reading the other 2 really shortly, so maybe when I'm uploading this, I have already. I don't know when I'm going to upload this. Sorry about this. So Your Name Volume 1 is the story about these 2 kids, a girl and a boy from the country and from the city, that actually sweep bodies throughout some time, and they learn to see through other people's eyes, and they learn what they want in life, and they learn how their life is important, actually. And the first one was really fuzzy and heartwarming, and I really loved it. It was almost like a contemporary read, but with a sci-fi-ish kind of thing. The other 2, I believe that I'm going to cry in the end of one of these books, but the first one is really cool for you to have on in a cozy, winterish day. Yeah, you can read this. Question number 9 is Fall returns every year. An old favorite you'd like to return to soon. And for this one, I'm going to choose a Portuguese kind of middle grayish one that was kind of the first fantasy that I read in my life, and that is Daughter of Worlds by Inês Botelho. And this one was my introduction to fantasy even before Harry Potter, I believe. And this is kind of a trilogy. The books grow on size, but they're not that big compared to some series that I've been reading and some books that I have to read. So one day I would like to come back to this, maybe in a fall season, to read this again and to relive everything that I felt for the first time that I read this. And yeah, this is great. This is about fae and elves and humans, and it is really good. Now that I'm saying this, I can see the touch of the Lord of the Rings in here, as in everything in fantasy, am I right? But it doesn't have anything to do with those plot points, and it is really interesting, and I really enjoyed it. Question number 10 is, fall is the perfect time for cozy reading nights. Share your favorite cozy reading accessories. And for this one, I have to say, I don't have a lot of accessories, not cozy, not otherwise, for the sole reason that I normally just read inside of my bed or when I'm commuting to somewhere or pretty much anywhere basically. So I don't have a lot of accessories that I bring with me, but I can say that I have some, so I'm going to try and show them to you. So in winter is more normal that I read with a candle beside me lit. This one is from Two Candle Thieves, and it is Daughter of Smoke and Bone based. It says true story, and it is cinnamon, cedarwood, and fresh cut roses. It is gorgeous. I haven't burned it yet. I'm thinking that maybe because it smells like cinnamon, I could burn it in the fall reading a book, maybe for a challenge or something for a readathon. I don't know. So candles normally in fall/winter are something that I try to burn when I read, but I can also not burn when I read, if you know what I mean. Also, I can or cannot have a blanket beside me, some lights, and I don't know, some food maybe, like a chocolate or something, or hot chocolate, and that is basically it. I don't have a lot of accessories that I use to read. I just like to sit and read my book. That's just it. Sorry. And question number 11, the final question, is spread the autumn appreciation and tag some people. So I'm not going to tag them in the video because I want to make sure that the people that I want to tag haven't made this tag already. So I'm going to leave in the box down below the people that I tagged, and I tell them that I will tag them. I am expecting to tag some people that haven't done this, that I really would love to see their answers to, and I would love to tag them in something. So you can expect that, if I remember, I hope. So yeah, that is all for today's video. If you like it, leave a like or subscribe. And if you want, tell me if you use any reading accessories during fall or winter or something like that, because I would really love to know. So that is all for today, and happy readings to you all. Bye. Oh Lord, I love fall.